So it was late last night. We'd come in. I already done all the work around the farm, kind of winding down, getting ready to take a shower, kind of fiddling around the room a little bit when Mrs. Pops wraps up, and got a phone call just out of the blue. Had talked to the person earlier that day and answered the phone and just heard it's over. I'm like, what? He's like, it's over, dude. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, brother. Halo got canceled. And I'm like, what on earth? So yeah, Stone Cold Loki gave me the call. Halo is no more. Hashtag RIP Halo. Are we celebrating? Yes, we are. Is it a reason to celebrate? Yes, it is. And I'm going to talk to you about why it is right now. I am Pops, and I was not a Halo fan. I was not a gamer, didn't know much about the franchise. Master Chief, of course, had transcended into pop culture. Everyone kind of knows who Master Chief was. But when Halo was announced, I was like, it's one of those things I think as a noob, I'd be kind of fun to kind of come in, give my opinion. And I reached out, was trying to find some folks to do a show with, do some streams, cover the TV. And that kind of is the precursor to Talk Hard, right? It ended up being Stone Cold Loki and Ironcaster. Ryan Roger Athe was kind of early on because Loki was late and he came in, did a couple episodes, but we had internet connections, things like that. And he was also a noob too. And he just kind of bowed out. And I think we found that Halo is disappointing on every single level to every single fan, casual or diehard. And let's talk about some of the reasons why. The first thing is really pretty clear. It was episode 1. It was very early on we had this. So you have this nobody character that is added. Her name is Quan. We called her Miss Mullet. She is completely irrelevant, made up for the show, completely teen girl boss, snotty, terrible human. And in episode 1, you get to a point, and then Master Chief does the unthinkable. He takes off his helmet. So why does this matter? It matters because immediately out of the gate, they've ruined the mystique of this character. This character is based on a first-person shooter game where anyone could be Master Chief. Anyone can play Master Chief. It can be young, old, black, white, Asian, girl, old dude. It doesn't matter. You're Master Chief. So part of what everyone wanted out of Halo was maybe some precursor sci-fi stuff and then a lot of action and a lot of just battle scenes, and Master Chief to be this massive, heroic, faithful, committed like a brother to his fellow Spartans in these sequences. And instead, we got this sort of meek, passive version of Master Chief who immediately takes his helmet off for some nobody teen girl. Like right out of the gate, everyone was knocked on their heels. Like, what is going on? Why are we doing this? This doesn't make any sense. All right, same girl, same situation. Uh, Miss Mullet, not Dave Chappelle, another character that we nicknamed. I don't remember his name in the show. He actually was brought back in season 2, had at least a story arc, especially in season 2, and wasn't terrible as a performer. But everything about these characters is completely irrelevant to Halo. It was completely manufactured to clearly check boxes, BDEI, had nothing to do with Halo lore, Halo canon. And you have fans like Stone Cold Loki or Angry Canadian, and there's millions of people out there that are familiar with the game who had to be scratching their heads because why am I watching a show about these characters? And I'm not talking about, oh, they made a random appearance. I mean, most of season 1 is bogged down by these two characters. I think it's 8 or 9 episodes, and you're talking about 40 to 50% of the time has to do with these characters or fallout of these characters or their made up manufactured art. And then the stupidity of the show is before we get to the real wrap up between the Spartans and the Covenant, Master Chief and the Cortana character, all that nonsense, is we ended up putting her back where she they have this mission to go back where they started. And you're like, okay, well, what was the whole point then? Like we went on this journey, we do all these things, and then at the end of the day, none of it really mattered that much. The character was really just about as witchy as she. What did she learn? She didn't have life lessons, right? Dave Chappelle's character. That's why I call him not Dave Chappelle because the dude looks like not like he could be Dave Chappelle's brother. Like, okay, he doesn't fit in. He's a little more grounded, maybe. Like, it was fine, but it was like just insufferable moment after insufferable moments.
Subverting expectations.
It's just clearly fan fiction.
But
Okay.
Loki, it wouldn't have been as exciting for the audience.
So that's a little clip from our breakdown of early Halo episodes. And it was very clear from the get go that they were just trying to kind of insult the fan. Like, let the fan go into Halo thinking that it would be about traditional Halo lore and canon, action, Master Chief, all this fighting, kick butt stuff with the Covenant lore in the back and having these different characters. But instead, it was all about manufacturing things that would basically like, "Ha, you didn't see that coming, did ya?" And you're like, "Okay, okay." We everyone saw the writing on the wall of what the agenda was with the show. And I was reminded very much of the Marvel movement that's happened over the last couple of years where the people have come out and said, "I was told not to read the source material. I was told not to look back at this." And I feel like Halo was the exact same thing. We wanted to do Halo in Halo name only and not do Halo. So now that it's become a failure, we're not going to get a season 3 for now. We'll see what happens. It is interesting for us to question, how did we get here? Like, what was it? Who had more control? Is it Paramount? Is it certain writers, certain people like that? Because they're the ones that need to be held accountable for destroying something that should have been a softball on a tee to hit a home run. Okay, the next reason Halo completely fell apart, in my opinion, was it was always cheap, especially season one. Now, season two did make some upgrades, right? It had better production design, it had a lot more better attention to detail in the backgrounds, the quality of the sets, where the locations were, things like that. But when you go back and you watch season one, it is so generic sci-fi. It's just Halo in name only. Like, there are whole sequences where there's really no background of a set. They have, like, just random 4 or 5 items that they could have got out of other offices in the building and put in the scene. Like, there was no effort to make you feel like you were immersed in Halo at all. Now, that may not be the biggest problem with the show by a long shot. Obviously, we haven't even gotten to story and things like that, but it is one of the things that aesthetically turns you off immediately from immersing you into a world where you want people to be immersed in. Like, part of the world building and what makes these franchises and IPs really run is how deep people go in it. And Halo has been around for so long. People intricately know elements of the show that they can gravitate to and get their head around, and wanted to see that play out on screen. And instead, you got these blank rooms, sterile environments, generic, cheap looking events and moments. It was such a turnoff right from the get go. And even though they tried to right that ship a little bit, it was just too little too late in a lot of ways. Now, that takes us to the biggest problem Halo failed, and that is obviously the story. The story is just dumb. The story is lame. The story wastes your time. There are episodes where you just nothing really happens. And then you have just random stupid stuff that we just mocked regularly when we talked about the show. Like, oh, the soup. Like, there's a whole sequence about soup. And then there's just these random people that would show up. And again, they were checking DEI even in season two. Season two is not nearly as bad as season one in that regard in some ways, but it ended up basically being evil girl boss and Master Chief, who really isn't Master Chief around. And it was about John running around and they're all fighting and no one's in armor. There's no technology. It just makes no sense that you would go all this trouble to do Halo and not have a Halo story, not have Halo story arcs. They would pull these random references and Easter eggs out of Halo lore and canon and drop that in. So all these people would be on Twitter or whatever, just seal clapping about, oh, did you see this? I think there's even like an Xbox reference in one of the episodes where it's like in the background. And I'm like, okay, who cares if the story is not any good? I mean, you literally have a sequence with the blind Spartan killing someone more than other people who are trained to do so. Like, it was unbelievably bad to the point where we made up nicknames for characters to live on because they didn't have enough personality to know what their names were. Like, we jokingly called Strawberry Spartan and cheered for Strawberry Spartan because Kai, we didn't even know Kai's name really until later. They finally started calling her by her name, but she would just look like the young teenage girl who was just happy to be there. Like, and then, oh yeah, I'm gonna dye my hair pink. And what is happening? This isn't Halo. I don't know what you expect fans to do. So the press release talks about it's been canceled. They're looking for another home for the show. Now that brings me to my last thought is there a way to save the show? Now, again, Fantasyland Pops is hired. I have to write a script on how to move forward. I'm going to write a movie because it's easier for my brain to wrap around a movie than a TV show. But what I would probably do is try to figure out how to undo some of the lore breaking stuff that they've done. So maybe there's a way that you could undo Keys and his death and all of that happened. And you could figure out there's a beacon and the planet wasn't really glassed and he's actually alive. And then you can figure out how that he will now join with Master Chief and they have some sort of reboot version of what Cortana's supposed to be. And it becomes more of a lore direction where now you take Master Chief on these adventures and these battle sequences, things like that fit. And all of this was some sort of like weird gray backstory. And maybe we won't be allowed to undo it. We have to pull from it or acknowledge it. But I would rather just kind of leave it all behind if I could. If I was forced to, that's how I would kind of pick and choose pieces out of it. But there's no way I'm going to just continue down this same avenue with John, not Master Chief, walking around with, Burrito, little seaweed wrap girl that he banged. And it's just I don't care. Like if that's all part of John, Master Chief, whatever, fine. I'd have to live with it. But my thought was no, that's not what you do. There's plenty of things you can adapt and go. And it needs to be more about just pure unadulterated sci-fi action and stuff. Like even if it's just Starship Troopers, like at least get to that point. Forget about even like greater stuff like what Battlestar was able to accomplish. At least try to get to Starship Troopers level for love of Pete. So, I don't know, man. Halo brought us together to do Hawk Hard on this channel. I'm grateful for that. I'm happy that I was able to meet and learn a lot about something I don't know much about, and I met other people who were able to help me and understand that. That's really my biggest takeaway from all this because the rest of it, especially season 2, most of it was a waste of time to the point where I was like, I didn't even want to watch it. Like I was like, well, let's wait till 2 or 3 episodes happen so there's actually something of significance to even talk about. That's how bad it got for me in season 2. So anyway, hashtag RIP Halo. Those are my thoughts. I am Pops. Take care, everybody.